In the heart of New York City, where skyscrapers brushed the clouds and time moved faster than people's dreams, a young intern named Amelia Hart began her first day at Lexan Industries, one of the largest tech companies in the country. Amelia wasn't like the others. She was quiet, reserved, and often found solace in the rhythm of silence. Having grown up with a brother who was deaf, she learned sign language at the age of 10, not just as a skill, but as a way to connect hearts beyond words. That morning, while hundreds of employees rushed into the glass tower, Amelia stood in the lobby, clutching her folder, whispering to herself, "You can do this, just one step at a time." As she waited for the elevator, an older man in a simple coat walked in, disoriented, holding a visitor badge upside down. He looked lost, his eyes scanning the directory board, lips moving, but no sound came out. Amelia noticed immediately. She hesitated, surrounded by rushing employees too busy to care, then slowly stepped forward. She signed gently, "Are you lost?" The man's eyes widened in relief. Finally, someone understood him. He signed back, "I'm here to see the CEO, but I can't find the office." Amelia smiled, pointed toward the elevator, and gestured for him to follow. She walked beside him, typing something on her phone to make sure he knew she cared. "It's okay. I'll take you there." Up on the top floor, behind a tinted glass wall, a pair of eyes were watching, calm, observant, and quietly moved. That man was Ethan Cole, the CEO of Lexan Industries. He had been in the office early, preparing for an investors' meeting when his assistant rushed in. "Sir, the visitor from the foundation is here, but he seems to have gotten lost." Ethan turned toward the security feed, and that's when he saw it. A young intern, barely in her 20s, stopping everything to help a lost deaf man. No hesitation, no audience, just pure compassion. He leaned closer to the screen, watching her guide the man with kindness that didn't need recognition. When they reached the 38th floor, the man thanked her, signing, "Thank you for your kindness." She bowed her head and smiled. Moments later, Ethan Cole stepped out of his office to greet the visitor, Mr. Douglas, the founder of a charity that funded schools for hearing-impaired children. Ethan greeted him warmly. But before they sat down, Mr. Douglas smiled and signed to Ethan's interpreter. "Your intern downstairs. She's special. She saw me when no one else did." Ethan looked intrigued. "My intern?" Douglas nodded. "She didn't know who I was. She just helped." That's the kind of person who changes a company from the inside. Those words stuck with Ethan. Later that afternoon, as Amelia sat quietly at her small cubicle, organizing spreadsheets, Ethan walked past. She froze. She'd only seen him in news articles and company newsletters. He paused by her desk, noticing her focus. "Amelia Hart, right?" She nodded nervously. "I heard you helped one of our guests today." Her face turned red. "Oh, He seemed lost. Ethan smiled gently. "Most people would have walked past. You didn't. That says a lot." He walked away, leaving her stunned. The CEO, knew her name. That small act of kindness began to ripple through the company. Ethan called a meeting with the HR department. He said, "We need more people like her. People who see before they're asked." Soon after, Lexan Industries launched a new accessibility and inclusion initiative, introducing sign language workshops, disability-friendly tech updates, and community outreach programs. And it all started because of one quiet intern who didn't even know her actions had been witnessed. Weeks later, during a major press event, Ethan stood on stage announcing the initiative. Cameras flashed, journalists took notes, and among the audience sat Amelia, blending into the crowd. Then Ethan said, "This program wasn't my idea." It came from an act of empathy, from someone who didn't know they were being watched. A small act that reminded me why we exist as a company, to make people seen, even in their silence. He gestured toward her. "Amelia Hart, thank you." The audience erupted in applause. Amelia froze, tears forming as the spotlight landed on her. For the first time, the shy intern wasn't invisible anymore. After the event, Ethan approached her privately. "You didn't do it for recognition, did you?" She smiled softly. No, sir, my brother's deaf. I just wanted that man to feel included. Ethan nodded. Then you've taught us all something priceless. He offered her a permanent position, head of community relations, leading the company's new social impact division. But Amelia didn't smile for the job offer. She smiled because kindness had spoken louder than ambition ever could. Months later, Amelia visited a local school for deaf children, sponsored by Lexon Industries. As she watched the kids laugh and sign together, she realized something powerful. Sometimes it's not about who's watching. It's about doing the right thing when no one is. And somewhere, in his office overlooking the skyline, Ethan Cole watched the footage of her speaking to those children. Proud, not as a CEO, but as someone who'd been changed by her silent voice. One small act of kindness can change an entire culture, an entire company, and sometimes the world. Because true leadership begins not with power, but with empathy.